Well, good morning, y'all, and welcome back to Apron Strings. Today's going to be about 3 or 4 different things that I'm cooking in this kitchen because I'm making breakfast. And one of the most important things that I do every morning is I make tea if I don't have some left over from the day before in the icebox. So the first thing I'm going to show y'all is how I make Southern sweet tea. And I'll tell you all about it while I'm doing it. Well, I'm going to show you how to make cream gravy, because some of y'all might not know how to make cream gravy, and that is an essential part of a Southern kitchen. And I'll give you some little tweaks on making brown gravy with water instead of your cream gravy. And then I'm going to make a pan of butter biscuits to go with it. And I'm going to cook us up some sausage patties. I like the Goolsby's from Costco. So I'm going to be cooking us up some sausage patties and frying some eggs, which probably won't show y'all that. But I am going to show you the sweet tea, the cream gravy, and the biscuits. So on the gravy, I'm not going to have a recipe card, so just watch the method and jot down what I'm doing, because I tell you about what I'm putting in it. And the tea, the same thing, but then you'll have a recipe card on the biscuits. But come on in and stay with me while I cook this breakfast. Don't just watch part of it and run off. I want you to stay here the whole time. I might have something real important to say and you're going to miss it. So come on in and let's get breakfast going and drink us some good sweet tea. Okay, now our water has, let me open this blind and see if I can get some more light on the subject. Our water has a lot of calcium in it. So I use my Berkey water purifier, and I put my water from the hydrant through the Berkey to get anything out that would be in it, and it's well water. And then I use a Brita filter to get the calcium out. So when I take it out of the Berkey, I put it in the Brita and let it filter through, and that makes the tea have that pretty, it's not clear because it's the color of tea, but it's not a milky, mucky color, because the calcium will do that. It'll discolor your tea. And another thing, if you're making your tea, not using an electric kettle, and you make it in a pot on the stove, don't drop your tea bags down in boiling water and then just boil the goodness out of them. It makes your tea flat, and it changes the taste of it, and it's not nearly as good. You want to pour the boiling water over your tea bags or your tea leaves, or you want to just turn the fire out, put the tea in, and put the lid on to let it steep. Now, different people steep their tea different amounts of time. I have found that I like mine steeped 6 to 8 minutes, and then I put it into the pitcher with the sugar and fill it on up with water. But I bought me an electric tea kettle. Let me move my paper towels. And I really like this, and the brand of mine is Queen Sense, and I got it off of Amazon, but it's just a, I think it's a 7.5 liter, 7 liter. That's how much it holds. Okay, so I have drawn this water out of the Berkey, and I'm going to put it in my glass tea kettle here and put it over there and let it start boiling. And I'll fill that back up again with the Berkey. So I'm just going to put this on to boil. Let me fill my water reservoir back up so we'll have plenty of water for the tea. Okay, I'm just going to let this sit here and filter through. I use tea leaves that I ordered from Harney, H-A-R-N-E-Y, Harney and Sons. And I use the orange pekoe, and I'll have to get a bag and show you what I use. Can't remember the last name on it. India, something India. They're organic, and it does make a difference in the taste of the tea. But all my life, and until I started ordering Harney's, I would use Lipton's tea. You can use whatever you want. I like black teas. Even if it's flavored, I don't want an herbal. I want some black tea in it. So what I do, I use a reusable tea bag that I bought off of Amazon that came in a package, and I use them until they're feeling stiff and crunchy, even when they're clean, and then I'll get me a new one. But I put 2 tablespoons of loose tea in. And I just keep my tea in this airtight container down in the cabinet out of the light, and I kind of heap them up. Tablespoons, I'm sorry, 2 tablespoons of loose tea leaves. And then I have a Pyrex or Anchor Hockin or whatever the brand is, large measuring cup here. And I just put my tea in there, and when the water starts boiling, I agitate it up and down and let it drip through, and when it's coming through real dark and I can tell that all of the leaves are wet now, then I put my tin foil on the top to let it steep for 6 minutes. So when this gets to boiling, we'll finish the tea, and then I will get into making some cream gravy. Okay, my beepers are going off here. So I just get my good old tea out of there and hold it up here at the top out of the sugar so I can squeeze all the juice out. And then I just let the tea leaves dry in this before I try to empty them. And you want to put the hot liquid into your sugar if you're making sweet tea, and let it dissolve that sugar completely. That makes a difference. Don't go ahead and fill your pitcher up with your extra water. Let the hot liquid dissolve the sugar. That completely dissolves it really good. Really well if you want to use your adverbs. Most of the time I don't want to. Okay, let's just add our filtered water in. And if you're using city water and you don't want to use a filter, dram it up and let it set out 24 hours, and that will help get rid of the chlorine, and that'll improve the taste of your tea. Well water or non-chlorinated water makes the best tea. The next alternative is to buy you a gallon of spring water or purified drinking water, and that way you don't have all the junk in it. So we've got good, clear, fresh, sweet southern tea made. And I'm going to fix me a glass of it here in a little bit. But right now, I think we better get on to making some gravy, so y'all will know how to make cream gravy if you don't know. And in the process, I'm going to tell you what to do if you want to make just brown water gravy. So let's get over to the stove and make us some gravy. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, I've got a half a stick of butter. So I'm going to cut that in little pieces where it'll melt quicker. But I'm also going to put about a tablespoon of olive oil in here to keep the butter from burning. Then I'm going to get my butter melted real good, and then we'll stir in our flour. Generally you use equal parts of your butter or oil and your flour. And then you add your liquid to the desired thickness. Some people like theirs more runny and some people like it thicker. Now if you were wanting to make sausage gravy for breakfast, what you would do is brown your sausage in the skillet and then take the sausage out, and you can either clean the skillet and put your butter and oil in, or you can use the grease from the sausage to make your roux for your gravy. And then once you get your flour browned and you've added your liquid in, then you add your sausage back in and just cook it for a little bit. So, but today I'm not putting sausage in it. This could go on mashed potatoes or rice or chicken fried steak or anything. Goes good on a biscuit. So we're just going to melt this down and show y'all the basic way to make cream gravy. Okay, I used a half of a cup of butter, and so I'm going to put a half a cup of flour in and a few turns of my black pepper, and that's optional. And a little bit of salt. I'm going to put about 3/4 of a teaspoon, and then you can do it to taste after that. But I'm going to get this stirred around, and then I'll bring y'all over here closer here in a minute to see what's going on. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil to make that flow a little bit better. And you just want to get your flour lightly browned for cream gravy. You don't want it real brown. If you want to make brown gravy, you have to get your roux, this part, about the color of a copper penny. My mama told me years ago, I'm adding about probably a tablespoon more of oil. Sister Everett, who was their pastor's wife, made the best gumbo, but she was teaching Mama how to make roux, and she said you get it to about the color of a copper penny, and then you'll have a good deep flavored roux. So I've remembered that through the years, and I think about her when I think about getting it the color of a copper penny. See, you want it kind of like that. It's not crumbly, but it's not runny. And I'm just going to stir this around on a medium heat until it gets a light brown color. And I'll bring y'all back when it gets to the right color. You want to make sure your flour's cooked. You don't want it to taste like it has raw flour in it. It doesn't take long to get it to the right color. It's just a light beigey brown color. Now, another thing, you can either use half and half heavy whipping cream. You can use evaporated milk, which a lot of times I will use evaporated milk and just weaken it down a little bit with regular milk and not water. I like it rich. Today I'm just going to use whole milk. Okay, you can see that it's turning brown. I'm going to stir it all together, and that's as brown as I want it, just lightly beige. I don't want it to taste like brown gravy. Now, another option is when you're making it a dark roux, you can add, instead of just water, a little bit of milk, and that gives it a little bit of a different flavor too. And I'm going to start out with 2 cups of milk here. And I'm going to add it a little bit at a time. You want to mash all of the lumps, and you put cold milk. You don't put hot into hot. It'll make a mess on you. Always have your liquid cold. If I'm making roast gravy, I either dilute the juice off the roast down or wait till it cools some. You don't want to make gravy. You don't want to put hot liquid into hot roux. Sometimes gravy's one of the hardest things for a new cook to learn how to make. But you just get the basics down, you can make dark or light gravy or whatever. And I'm going to have to add some more liquid to this. Because the truth is, y'all, I don't ever measure anything. I just put me some grease in the skillet and sift me some flour in there and pour from the jug. But my girl needs to learn how to do this too, so she'll have a reference. Kind of what to do. Because I wanted this kind of thick, so probably 3 cups. And then you want to let it simmer for a bit and cook. And it's going to continue to thicken, so if it gets too thick for you, just add you some more liquid till you get it as thin as you want it. So anytime I make gravy, I add onion and garlic powder to it. You have to watch out, because see how it starts popping? It'll just pop all over you. So here goes. I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon of garlic, and about a tablespoon of onion powder. That one had some lumps in it. Now, if you were going to put this on mashed potatoes, I like it thick. If I'm going to put it on rice, I like it a little bit thinner. There you have it, my friends. That's how you make gravy. I'm going to make us some biscuits to go with the gravy, and then I'm going to cook us some eggs to go with it too. So I decided I might as well show y'all what kind of biscuits I'm doing. I'm doing butter biscuits. And you melt a stick of butter and you put it in your 8x8 pan. And then you have 2½ cups of flour, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, 4 teaspoons of sugar, and a teaspoon of salt in your pan, and you want to mix your dry ingredients a little bit. These are some of the best biscuits in the whole world. And I've done a video on it at some point in the past. 2 cups of buttermilk. It's dreary outside here today. I wish the sun would come out. You just want to mix this real good. Then you're going to put it in there on top of that butter. Slosh the butter up on the top. You want to be sure you get all the dry ingredients out of the bottom. Then you just want to put this mix in right on top of the butter in your 8x8 pan. Now, I'm not going to probably put a card at the end of this because there's no set measurements on the gravy. I kind of did measurements. I may put a card and I may not, so you better write it down just in case I don't. And you want butter up on the top. It makes them good. And once you get it spread out in here and pretty well even, you want to take your spatula and you want to divide it into 3 that direction and 3 that direction. You cut down into the dough, but not all the way to the bottom. And then when they get done, you've got little lines to cut your biscuits apart and serve them. So let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Can you see that I kind of made indentions in it with the spatula? Okay, I'm going to get these in the oven. And in a minute we're going to have us some good biscuits. I got our biscuits out. There's Troy's plate. Sometimes when you're videoing, the camera just goes crazy on you. And I lost my ending strip where I was telling y'all thank you for watching. And I had our plates ready and we were fixing to go sit down at the table and eat. So here I am back again making an end to the video. I hope y'all have enjoyed the video and hope you've learned something about making sweet tea or gravy or biscuits that you can use in your kitchen. I appreciate every one of y'all watching. I love to read the comments and answer them and interact with you. It makes me feel like we're all just one big family. So I'm going to get over there and add this last bit to my video where I'm going to run to town and let it upload where it'll get there quicker. I've got about 3 aprons to put in the mail. Then I'm going to get back home and make another video, and y'all will see what it is when you watch the next one. The good Lord bless and keep you. Keep some good food on your table. Keep a pot simmering on the stove. Makes your house smell like home. Spend some time with your kids, one-on-one. Don't worry so much about having or not having a lot of money to buy presents for Christmas. Give them your time. You can't buy time, and they really do want some of your time, whether they're 45, 15, or 5. People want your attention, so that don't cost you anything. Give them the gift of yourself. and make some lasting memories. With, a good memory, unless you lose your mind, you've got it forever. And those things you buy with money are going to wear out. So make memories, give your kids and your family your time. Give the good Lord His time. Be sure to thank Him for all of His blessings and what He's done for you and what He's allowed you to have to enjoy. And make life count. I'll see y'all again in a few days. The good Lord bless you, and we'll gather and make something else good.